I'm Kenzie, 28, and I just discovered my parents expect me to be an unpaid babysitter for 12 children during my sister's $80,000 wedding. You should feel useful, my dad said with that smile he uses when he's being completely unreasonable. If you're not going to contribute, then don't come, my mother added with the casual cruelty she's perfected over the years. So I smiled right back and said, good luck paying the $80,000 alone. Where are you watching from today? Drop your location in the comments below and hit that like and subscribe button if you've ever felt taken for granted by your own family. You'll definitely want to stick around for what happened next. Let me back up and explain how we got to this delightful family moment. See, my parents have always been obsessed with appearances. We live in a gorgeous mansion that belonged to my great-grandfather, complete with perfectly manicured gardens and a circular driveway that screams old money. What people don't know is that my parents are broke. Like, seriously broke. The kind of broke where they pawn my mother's jewelry to pay for my sister Rebecca's wedding dress. The house is all we have left of the family fortune, and my parents guard its reputation like it's the Hope Diamond. Every blade of grass must be perfect. Every light fixture must sparkle. Every dinner party must convince people we're still wealthy. Meanwhile, I've been quietly covering their mortgage payments for the past 3 years. When Rebecca got engaged to Marcus, whose family actually has money, my parents saw it as their golden ticket back to high society. Never mind that Rebecca and Marcus wanted a small ceremony with close family. No, my parents insisted on a lavish affair that would properly honor the union of two important families. Translation, they wanted to show off for Marcus's parents and pretend we still had money. The wedding planning started modestly. Rebecca showed me pictures of a beautiful but simple ceremony at the Botanical Gardens. 50 guests, elegant but understated. Then my parents got involved. Suddenly it became a 200-person extravaganza at the most expensive venue in the city. Crystal chandeliers, 7-course dinner, live orchestra, the works. Each time I thought the budget was final, another essential detail would emerge. Designer linens, imported flowers, a chocolate fountain because Marcus's cousin had one at her wedding. My father approached me 6 months ago with the final tally, $80,000. The venue and catering alone were $60,000, which he needed my help covering. The remaining $20,000 was apparently manageable through various family contributions and, I suspected, more pawned jewelry. I agreed because, honestly, I love my sister despite everything. And I have the money. My consulting business has been doing well, and I've always been careful with finances, unlike some people in this family. But here's what really gets me. After I agreed to cover the majority of their daughter's wedding, they immediately started treating me like hired help instead of a guest. My mother started calling me every other day with suggestions about my behavior at the wedding. Kenzie, dear, maybe you could wear something a bit more conservative? We don't want Marcus's family getting the wrong impression about our family values. Translation, don't embarrass us by existing as a single 28-year-old woman. Rebecca herself got in on the act. During a family dinner 3 weeks ago, she pulled me aside. Kenzie, I'm a little worried about how you'll fit in with Marcus's crowd. They're very sophisticated. Maybe tone down the sarcasm for one day? Tone down the sarcasm. Right. Because my personality might somehow contaminate her perfect wedding. But the real insult came from my father. He actually had the audacity to suggest I use the wedding as a networking opportunity to meet more suitable men, as if the only value I could bring to the event was possibly landing a husband and becoming someone else's financial responsibility. Here's what's particularly rich about this whole situation. I'm the most successful person in our immediate family. My consulting firm specializes in helping small businesses restructure their operations, and I've built a solid reputation over the past 5 years. I own my own condo, drive a car that's paid off, and have actual savings. Rebecca works part-time at a boutique and lives in an apartment my parents subsidize. My parents themselves live entirely off the rental income from properties my great-grandfather left them, plus whatever I contribute when things get tight, which is often. But somehow, I'm the family embarrassment who needs to be managed and contained. The breaking point started building 2 weeks ago, when my mother mentioned she'd found the perfect role for me at the wedding. I assumed she meant a reading during the ceremony, or perhaps helping Rebecca with her dress. You know, normal sister of the bride responsibilities. Yesterday's family dinner revealed exactly what she had in mind. It'll be wonderful, she said, practically glowing with excitement. Marcus's family is bringing 12 children from various relatives. Someone needs to supervise them during the reception, keep them entertained, make sure they don't disturb the adults during dinner. Rebecca nodded enthusiastically. It's perfect for you, Kenzie. You're so good with kids, and it'll keep you busy so you won't feel awkward during the social parts. Won't feel awkward during the social parts. Let that sink in. At my sister's wedding, which I'm financing, I would be segregated with children to avoid awkward social situations. My father leaned back in his chair with that satisfied expression he gets when he thinks he's solved a problem. It's really ideal. You'll be contributing meaningfully to the day instead of just attending. The wedding I'm paying for. I stared at them across the dinner table, trying to process what I'd just heard. You want me to be a babysitter at Rebecca's wedding? Not a babysitter, my mother corrected quickly. A children's coordinator. Much more dignified. Rebecca reached for my hand. Think about it, Kenzie. These are important people in Marcus's family. If their children have a wonderful time, it reflects well on all of us. The logic was so twisted it made my head spin. I would reflect well on the family by being removed from the actual family celebration. What about dinner? I asked. Where exactly am I supposed to eat while coordinating 12 children? My parents exchanged a look. We've arranged for the children to have their own table, my father said. You'd supervise their meal service. So not only would I miss the 7-course dinner I was paying for, I'd be managing 12 kids eating chicken nuggets at a separate table. And the dancing, the speeches, the toasts. Well, my mother hesitated. You'd need to keep the children quiet during the formal portions. Maybe take them outside or to the bridal suite for activities we've prepared. Activities they'd prepared, without consulting me, for a job they'd volunteered me for, at an event I was funding. This is insane, I said quietly. Rebecca's face hardened. It's one day, Kenzie. One day where you could put family first instead of thinking about yourself. Put family first. After contributing $80,000 to her perfect day. My father's voice carried that warning tone I remembered from childhood. Kenzie, this family has always supported each other. We're asking for a small favor in return for everything we've done for you. Everything they'd done for me. Like allowing me to pay their bills for 3 years while treating me like a financial inconvenience. I need to think about it, I said, standing up from the table. My mother's smile looked painted on. Of course, dear. But we need to confirm the children's arrangements with Marcus's family by tomorrow. They're counting on us. Counting on us. Meaning counting on me to disappear quietly into child-wrangling duty while everyone else enjoyed the party I was funding. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the pattern I'd somehow missed for years. Every family gathering, every holiday, every celebration somehow involved me contributing financially while being marginalized socially. Last Christmas, I bought gifts for everyone and helped cook dinner, then listened to my parents praise Rebecca's artistic eye for decorating the table with flowers I'd paid for. For my father's birthday, I organized and funded a surprise party at his favorite restaurant, then watched him give a speech thanking everyone who made this possible, without mentioning my name. Have you ever experienced that moment when you suddenly see your family dynamics clearly for the first time? It's not a pleasant realization. The next morning, my phone started ringing at 7 a.m. My mother, of course, eager to get my answer about the children's coordinator position. Kenzie, sweetheart, I was thinking about last night, and I want you to know how much this means to us. You have such a gift with children. What gift? I rarely spend time with children. This was pure fiction designed to make their ridiculous request sound reasonable. Mom, I haven't actually agreed to anything yet. Of course not, dear. But Marcus's mother called this morning, and she's so relieved to know the children will be in capable hands. She specifically mentioned how impressed she was that we had family members willing to take on special responsibilities. The manipulation was breathtaking. Now, I wasn't just disappointing my family, I was disappointing Marcus's family too. People I'd never met who apparently already expected me to spend the wedding managing their children. You told her I'd agreed? I told her we had a plan in place. Which we do, assuming you'll do the right thing. The right thing. As if refusing to be unpaid childcare at my sister's wedding was somehow morally questionable. Rebecca called an hour later. Kenzie, Mom says you're having second thoughts about helping with the kids. I'm having second thoughts about spending my sister's wedding corralling other people's children instead of celebrating with my family. But you would be celebrating with family. You'd be helping make my day perfect. Perfect for everyone except me, apparently. Rebecca, do you understand that I'm paying for your wedding venue and catering? A pause. We're all contributing in different ways. Name one way you're contributing. Another pause. I'm the bride, Kenzie. My contribution is getting married and making this family proud. I wanted to laugh, but it would have sounded hysterical. Her contribution to her own wedding was being the bride. What about Mom and Dad? How are they contributing? They're hosting the celebration and managing all the family relationships. Do you know how stressful it is to coordinate with Marcus's family? Hosting the celebration I was funding. Managing relationships by volunteering me for unpaid labor. My father called that afternoon. Time for the heavy artillery. Kenzie, your mother is very upset about your attitude regarding the wedding responsibilities. Responsibilities. As if I'd signed up for a job instead of being voluntarily recruited for one. Dad, I'm happy to attend Rebecca's wedding as her sister and celebrate her marriage. I'm not happy to work at her wedding as unpaid staff. This isn't about working, it's about family. When you were growing up, did we ever refuse to help when you needed something? The question was rhetorical, but I found myself actually considering it. When had I needed something? I'd been independent since college, working part-time jobs to avoid asking them for money. Even for major purchases like my car or condo, I'd handled everything myself. I can't think of a time when I asked for help, I said honestly. Exactly. Because family helps each other without being asked. That's what makes us strong. The circular logic was dizzying. They'd never helped me because I'd never asked, and I'd never asked because I'd learned early that help came with strings attached. Now they were using my independence as evidence that I owed them unlimited assistance. 3 days before the wedding, I received my final straw. Rebecca called to discuss logistics for my children's coordinator role. I've prepared activity bags for each child, she announced. Coloring books, crayons, puzzle books, small toys. They're in my closet at Mom and Dad's house. Activity bags she'd prepared for a job I'd never officially accepted. Rebecca, we need to talk about this children's situation. What's to talk about? Everything's organized. Oh, and I bought you a special outfit for coordination duty. Something practical that won't show stains if the kids are messy. A special outfit. She'd bought me a uniform for my unpaid wedding labor. I need to see this outfit. It's perfect. Navy blue polo shirt and khaki pants. Very professional but casual. The polo has family coordinator embroidered on it. Family coordinator. With embroidery. She'd literally created a uniform designating me as wedding staff. Rebecca, I never agreed to be anyone's coordinator. Kenzie, please don't do this. Everything is arranged. Marcus's family is expecting it. The children's meals are ordered. The activity room is reserved. You can't back out now. The activity room. They'd rented a separate room to warehouse me with 12 children during the reception. Where exactly is this activity room? It's the hotel's business center on the second floor. Perfect for keeping the kids entertained without disturbing the reception. The business center. On a different floor from the reception. I would be literally removed from the wedding celebration. So I'll miss the dinner completely? Well, yes, but we're having special meals brought up for you and the children. Kid-friendly options. Kid-friendly options. While everyone else enjoyed the 7-course meal I was funding. And the speeches? The dancing? The cake cutting? Kenzie, you're acting like this is a punishment. It's a responsibility. An important one. An important responsibility that removed me from every meaningful moment of my sister's wedding. That evening, I drove to my parents' house to see this coordinator outfit for myself. Rebecca proudly displayed the navy polo with its cheerful embroidered logo and matching khaki pants. See? Very professional. And comfortable for chasing after kids. I held up the polo shirt, staring at the embroidery that literally labeled me as family staff rather than family. This is really what you want me to wear to your wedding? It's what I need you to wear for your responsibilities. My mother appeared in the doorway. It looks perfect, doesn't it? Very appropriate for the role. The role. As if being relegated to childcare duty was an honor I should appreciate. Mom, do you realize how this looks? I'm paying for the majority of this wedding, and you want me to work it wearing a uniform? Darling, don't be so dramatic. You're helping make the day special for everyone. Special for everyone except me. I'd be spending my sister's wedding in a business center, wearing a polo shirt that identified me as hired help, managing other people's children while missing every moment that mattered. I need to think about this, I said, handing back the uniform. My father emerged from his study. What's to think about? The arrangements are made. People are counting on you. People were counting on me to disappear, to handle the inconvenient parts of their celebration while staying out of sight during the enjoyable parts. The family dinner 1 week before the wedding started pleasantly enough. Rebecca was glowing with pre-wedding excitement. My parents were bustling around playing host and hostess, and the dining room looked picture perfect with my mother's best china and the flowers I'd sent earlier that day. Everything is falling into place beautifully, my mother announced as we settled around the table. The weather forecast is perfect. The venue coordinator confirmed all the arrangements, and I finally found the perfect solution for managing the children's situation. She was practically vibrating with satisfaction as she served the roast. Kenzie will be absolutely perfect as the children's coordinator. It gives her such an important role in making the day successful. Important role. In the business center. Away from the actual wedding. Rebecca raised her wine glass. To family, and to everyone contributing to make this the perfect celebration. My parents lifted their glasses, beaming. My father cleared his throat for what I recognized as the beginning of one of his speeches. This wedding represents everything our family stands for. Elegance, tradition, and taking care of each other. Kenzie, we're so proud that you found a way to be truly useful on Rebecca's special day. Truly useful. After contributing $80,000, I was finally useful because I'd agreed to disappear into childcare. To Kenzie, my mother added, for stepping up when family needed her. They toasted my willingness to be marginalized at my own sister's wedding. Something snapped inside me. Not anger exactly, but clarity. Perfect, crystalline clarity about exactly what was happening here. Actually, I said, setting down my wine glass carefully, I need to clarify something about my role at the wedding. Everyone looked at me expectantly, smiles frozen in place. I won't be serving as children's coordinator. The silence that followed was deafening. My mother's fork paused halfway to her mouth. Rebecca's smile faltered. My father's expression shifted from pleased to confused to warning. Kenzie, my mother said carefully, we've discussed this. Everything is arranged. You arranged it without my consent. I never agreed to spend Rebecca's wedding managing other people's children. Rebecca leaned forward. But Kenzie, you're so good with kids. And it's just for a few hours. I'm good with kids in the same way I'm good with many things, but that doesn't mean I want to spend my sister's wedding doing childcare. My father's voice carried that edge I remembered from childhood arguments. Kenzie, this family has always supported each other. We're asking for one small favor. You're asking me to miss my sister's wedding to provide free labor. Don't be dramatic, my mother snapped. You wouldn't be missing anything. You'd be participating in a different way. Participating in a different way. In a separate room. During dinner, speeches, dancing, and cake cutting. Here's what I find interesting, I said, my voice steady despite my heart pounding. I'm contributing $80,000 to this wedding, but I'm the only person being asked to work during it. Rebecca's face flushed. You offered to help with the costs. I offered to help financially. I didn't offer to be unpaid staff. My father stood up, towering over the table in the intimidation pose that used to work when I was 12. You should feel grateful to have a meaningful role in this celebration. If you're not going to contribute meaningfully, then maybe you shouldn't attend at all. The threat hung in the air like smoke. Contribute meaningfully by working, or don't come to your sister's wedding. My mother's voice dropped to that wounded tone she used for maximum guilt. After everything we've done for you, Kenzie, all the support this family has given you over the years, I stood up slowly, gathering my purse and car keys. Good luck paying the $80,000 alone. The words came out perfectly calm, which made them somehow more devastating than shouting would have been. Kenzie! Rebecca jumped up. You can't be serious. I'm completely serious. Enjoy your wedding. The explosion started before I even reached my car. Kenzie! Kenzie, get back here! My father's voice boomed across the driveway as I unlocked my Honda. You don't walk away from this family! I could hear chairs scraping against the dining room floor, urgent voices overlapping, the sound of panic setting in, but I didn't turn around. I'd spent 28 years turning around, coming back, apologizing, smoothing things over. Not tonight. My phone started ringing before I'd driven 2 blocks. Rebecca's name flashing on the screen. I let it go to voicemail. Then it rang again, and again. By the time I reached my condo, I had 14 missed calls from various family members and a text thread that was exploding faster than I could read it. Rebecca. Kenzie, please come back, we can talk about this. Mom. Young lady, you get back here right now. Dad. This behavior is completely unacceptable. Rebecca. You're being ridiculous, it's just babysitting. Mom. After everything we've sacrificed for you. Rebecca. I can't believe you're ruining my wedding over something so stupid. I turned my phone off and ran a bath. For the first time in months, my shoulders weren't tense. Walking away from that dinner table felt like setting down a weight I'd been carrying so long I'd forgotten it was there. The next morning brought 23 voicemails and 47 text messages. I made coffee and started listening. Rebecca's first message, left at 9:47 p.m. Kenzie, I'm hurt and confused. We had everything planned. Can we please talk about this like adults? My mother at 10:15 p.m. I don't know what's gotten into you, but this selfishness ends now. Call me immediately. My father at 10:22 p.m. Kenzie, if you don't return my call within 24 hours, there will be serious consequences for our relationship. Serious consequences. From the man whose mortgage I'd been covering for 3 years. Rebecca again at 11:30 p.m. Mom is crying, Dad is furious. You're tearing this family apart over nothing. Please fix this. Over nothing. My sister considered my objection to working her wedding while she celebrated nothing. The messages continued through the night and into the morning, growing progressively more desperate and angry. Rebecca called me selfish, ungrateful, and jealous. My mother questioned my mental health and suggested I might need professional help. My father threatened various forms of family excommunication. But here's what struck me as I listened. Not one person asked why I was upset. Not one person acknowledged that maybe, just maybe, Asking me to fund and work their celebration while being excluded from it was unreasonable. Instead, they'd all decided I was having some sort of breakdown that needed to be managed. I blocked all their numbers. For 3 days, my phone stayed blissfully silent. I worked on client projects, went to yoga, met friends for dinner, and realized how much mental energy I'd been spending on family drama. Without the constant stream of demands, guilt trips, and crisis management, I felt clearer than I had in years. Then Rebecca showed up at my office. I was reviewing quarterly reports when my assistant knocked on my door. "Kenzie, your sister is here. She says it's urgent." Rebecca looked terrible. Dark circles under her eyes, hair unwashed, wearing sweatpants and an oversized hoodie. She'd clearly been crying recently. "We need to talk," she said, closing my office door behind her. "There's nothing to discuss." "There's everything to discuss. The wedding is in 4 days, Kenzie. 4 days." I gestured to the chair across from my desk. She sat down heavily, looking more fragile than I'd ever seen her. "The children's situation is handled," she said. "Marcus's aunt hired a professional babysitter. You don't have to do anything except come to the wedding as my sister." "That's generous of you." "Don't be sarcastic. I'm trying to fix this." "What exactly are you trying to fix?" Rebecca's voice cracked. "The whole family is falling apart. Mom isn't sleeping. Dad is talking about canceling the reception entirely. Everyone is blaming me for the chaos." Good, I thought but didn't say. Let them experience some consequence for their behavior. "And the money situation?" I asked. Rebecca's face crumpled. "We can't afford it without your contribution. We've already put deposits down on everything. If we cancel now, we lose thousands in fees." "So what's your solution?" "Come back, please. We'll figure out the money somehow." "How exactly?" "Dad's talking to the bank about a loan against the house." The house. The only asset my family had left, and they were willing to mortgage it rather than treat me with basic respect. "Rebecca, do you understand why I'm upset?" She looked genuinely confused. "Because we asked you to help with the kids?" Even now, she couldn't see it. "You asked me to fund your wedding and then work it while missing all the important parts. You bought me a uniform, Rebecca. You literally embroidered staff on a shirt for me to wear. It didn't say staff, it said coordinator. Same thing. You were hiding me away with children so I wouldn't embarrass you in front of Marcus's family." "That's not true." "Then why wasn't I invited to the rehearsal dinner? Why wasn't I included in any of the wedding planning meetings? Why has every conversation about this wedding treated me like a problem to be managed rather than family to be celebrated?" Rebecca stared at me, and for the first time, I saw recognition in her eyes. "I never thought about it that way," she whispered. "No," I agreed. "You didn't think about it at all." I didn't go to the wedding. Saturday morning, I turned my phone back on long enough to post on social media. A photo of myself at the farmer's market, coffee in hand, looking relaxed and happy. The caption read, "Perfect Saturday morning. Sometimes the best gift you can give someone is the space to celebrate exactly the way they want to. Let them interpret that however they wanted." By Sunday evening, curiosity got the better of me. I checked Rebecca's Instagram story from the wedding. The venue looked beautiful, but noticeably smaller than originally planned. Instead of the grand ballroom I'd toured months ago, they'd moved the reception to a smaller event space. The guest count appeared to be about half what they'd originally planned. The photos showed Rebecca looking stunning in her dress, my parents putting on brave faces, and Marcus's family looking slightly confused by the scaled-down celebration. No 7-course dinner, no orchestra, no elaborate floral arrangements. It was still elegant, but clearly budget-conscious in a way that my parents must have found mortifying. Monday morning brought a call from an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. "Kenzie, it's Dad." His voice sounded older somehow. Tired. "How did you get this number?" "I called your office. We need to talk." "I don't think we do. Please, just 5 minutes." Something in his tone made me hesitate. Fine, 5 minutes. The wedding happened. I saw the photos. It looked lovely. It was different than planned, smaller, more intimate. I waited for him to get to the point. "We took out a loan against the house to cover the costs. The payment is due monthly, and it's substantial." Of course it was. They'd mortgaged their only asset to avoid admitting they'd treated me badly. "Your mother and I have been talking about how we handled things with you. And we may have been unclear about your role in the celebration." Unclear. That was one way to put it. "Dad, you told me I should feel grateful to work my sister's wedding. You said if I wasn't going to contribute meaningfully, I shouldn't attend at all." A long pause. I was frustrated. We were all under a lot of pressure. "You were under pressure you created by planning a wedding you couldn't afford." "That's fair." The admission surprised me. My father rarely acknowledged fault in anything. "What do you want from me?" "We're hoping you might consider helping with the house payment. Just until we figure out a long-term solution. There it was. Not an apology, not a recognition of how badly they'd treated me. A request for more money. What happened to family supporting each other? That's exactly what I'm asking for. No, Dad. You're asking me to bail you out financially while maintaining the same dynamic that got us here in the first place. 2 weeks after the wedding, my mother showed up at my condo unannounced. She looked smaller than usual, her perfectly maintained appearance slightly disheveled. "May I come in?" I stepped aside reluctantly. She perched on the edge of my sofa, hands clasped tightly in her lap. "Your father and I have been doing a lot of thinking since the wedding." I waited. "We realize we may have taken your financial support for granted over the years." May have. The qualification was typical, but it was more acknowledgement than I'd ever received before. "We're struggling with the house payment, Kenzie. The loan we took out has a variable interest rate and it's already gone up twice since we signed." "That sounds like poor financial planning." She flinched. It was the only option available on short notice. "There was another option. Treat me with respect and keep my contribution. We know that now." I studied her face, looking for signs of genuine understanding versus strategic manipulation. The lines around her eyes seemed deeper, and her usual confident posture was absent. "What exactly are you asking for?" "We'd like you to consider resuming the help you provided before. Just with the mortgage and basic expenses. We won't ask for anything beyond that." "And in return?" "In return, we promise to treat you with the respect you deserve as our daughter." It was a start, but promises from my family had proven worthless before. "I need to think about it." She nodded, standing to leave. At the door, she turned back. "Rebecca is having a hard time adjusting to married life. Marcus's family has been distant since the wedding. I think they were expecting something different. Something more expensive, she meant. Something that would have impressed them instead of raising questions about our family's actual financial situation. That's not my problem to solve." "No," she agreed quietly. "I suppose it isn't." After she left, I sat in my living room thinking about consequences. My parents were facing financial reality for the first time in years. Rebecca was dealing with the social awkwardness of having disappointed her new in-laws. The family dynamics that had protected them while exploiting me were finally catching up. The question was whether I wanted to enable their return to the same pattern or force them to find genuinely new solutions. 3 days later, Rebecca called from an unknown number. "Don't hang up," she said quickly. "Please." "What do you want, Rebecca?" "I want to apologize. Really apologize, not just try to fix things." I waited. "I've been thinking about what you said. About how we treated you during the wedding planning. You were right, Kenzie. We did treat you like staff instead of family. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry we made you feel invisible while taking your money. I'm sorry we planned around you instead of including you. I'm sorry I bought you that stupid polo shirt." It was the first genuine apology I'd received from anyone in my family. "Thank you. Marcus's family has been asking questions about why you weren't at the wedding. I've been making excuses, but honestly, I'm ashamed to tell them the truth." "Good. She should be ashamed. I told Marcus what really happened, how we treated you. He was horrified, Kenzie. He said if his family had treated me that way, he would have done the same thing. That was unexpectedly validating." "What do you want from me now?" "Nothing. I just wanted you to know that I understand why you left, and that I'm sorry it took me this long to see it." A month later, I learned something interesting about my sister's marriage. Rebecca called me on a Thursday evening, and she sounded different, flatter, less animated than usual. "How's married life?" I asked, genuinely curious. "It's an adjustment." "What kind of adjustment?" A long pause. "Marcus's family has very specific expectations about how things should be done, how we should entertain, what social events we should attend, how we should present ourselves." "That sounds exhausting." "It is, and expensive. Everything they do is expensive." I could hear the stress in her voice. "Are you okay financially?" "We're managing. Marcus has a good job, and his family helps with the big expenses, but it comes with strings." Strings. Welcome to my world, I thought. What kind of strings? "They want us to buy a house in their neighborhood. They've offered to help with the down payment, but it would be in a trust controlled by his father. And they want us to join their country club, send our future children to specific schools, vacation with them every year." Sounds like they're buying your compliance. Maybe, I don't know. This is all new to me. It wasn't new to me. I'd been navigating family financial manipulation my entire adult life. "Rebecca, can I ask you something?" "Sure." "How does it feel to have someone else control your choices with money?" A long silence. "Is this what we did to you?" "What do you think?" "Oh my God, Kenzie. Yes. This is exactly what we did to you." The recognition in her voice was complete and devastating. Every time Marcus's mother suggests how I should dress or decorate our apartment, I feel grateful and trapped at the same time. Grateful for the help, trapped by the expectations that come with it. Now imagine that feeling lasting for years. Imagine knowing that your family's financial stability depends on your compliance with demands that make you feel small. I'm so sorry. I know you are. What should I do? About Marcus's family? What do you want to do? I want to set some boundaries, but I'm scared they'll withdraw their support, and we can't afford the lifestyle they expect without their help. Then you have a choice to make. Accept their control in exchange for their money, or find a different way to live that doesn't require their approval. Is that what you did with us? Eventually. 2 weeks later, Rebecca called with an update. I talked to Marcus about his family's expectations. He's been feeling the pressure too, but didn't know how to address it. What did you decide? We're going to decline the house in their neighborhood and find something we can afford on our own. We'll stay in the country club for now, but we're not committing to the school or vacation requirements. How did his family react? His mother was displeased. She said we were being ungrateful and short-sighted. Sounds familiar? Yeah, but Marcus supported me, which felt really good. He said our marriage should be about what we want, not what our families expect. I felt genuinely proud of her. Standing up to family pressure isn't easy, especially when money is involved. How are things with Mom and Dad? Rebecca's voice got quiet. Difficult. They're really struggling with the house payment. Dad's been looking for work, but at his age, it's challenging. And Mom? She's talking about getting a job for the first time in 20 years. The whole situation has been a wake-up call about how dependent they've become on external support. External support, meaning my support. Are you going to help them? I can't, Kenzie. Marcus and I are barely managing our own expenses without his family's help. We don't have anything extra to contribute. So they were finally experiencing what I'd lived with for years. The pressure to contribute financially to family needs while managing their own responsibilities. 6 months after Rebecca's wedding, my father called with news that surprised me. I got a job. Really? Doing what? Consulting for small construction companies, helping them navigate permitting processes and regulatory requirements. It's part-time, but it's something. My father had spent his entire career in management, avoiding hands-on work whenever possible. The idea of him consulting was almost unimaginable. How did that come about? I started volunteering with a nonprofit that helps small businesses. Turns out, all those years of dealing with city planning committees gave me useful experience. That's great, Dad. Your mother started working too. She's managing social media for 3 local businesses. Apparently, all those years of maintaining our social image translated into actual marketing skills. The transformation was remarkable. My parents, who'd spent years living off inherited property and my contributions, were finally working again. How are you feeling about it? Tired, he admitted, but also useful. I'd forgotten what it felt like to earn money rather than just manage it. 3 weeks later, my mother invited me to lunch. We met at a small cafe downtown, far from the country club where she usually held social meetings. This place is adorable, she said, looking around at the mismatched furniture and handwritten menu board. Much more charming than those stuffy places I used to frequent. The woman who'd once insisted on crystal stemware for casual dinners was praising a cafe that served coffee in ceramic mugs. How are you adjusting to working? It's challenging, she admitted. But I'm discovering I'm actually good at social media marketing. Who knew all those years of managing our family's image would translate into professional skills? And financially, we're managing the house payment now, though it's tight. We had to make some adjustments to our lifestyle. Adjustments. I could see them in her appearance. Hair styled at a salon chain instead of the expensive spa she'd preferred. Clothes from department stores rather than boutiques. We wanted to talk to you about resuming our relationship, she continued, without the financial component that complicated things before. What does that look like? Family dinners, holiday celebrations, regular contact, but no requests for money, no expectations of financial support. And if you have financial emergencies, we'll handle them ourselves. We're adults, Kenzie. We should be solving our own problems. It was the conversation I'd been waiting my entire adult life to have. I'd like that. There's something else. Rebecca's been having a hard time with Marcus's family. They're pressuring her to reconcile with us only if we resume our proper financial status. What does that mean? They want us to move back into expensive social circles, host elaborate entertaining, essentially return to the lifestyle that almost bankrupted us. And Rebecca's response? She told them that our family's worth isn't measured by our bank account, that she's proud of us for working and becoming self-sufficient. I felt a surge of pride for my sister. Standing up to her in-laws' expectations couldn't have been easy. How did they react? They've become distant, fewer dinner invitations, less financial support. Rebecca and Marcus are adjusting their expectations accordingly. How do you feel about that? My mother considered the question carefully. Relieved, actually. We spent so many years performing wealth we didn't have. It's exhausting to maintain an image that isn't real. 6 months later, we had our first normal family dinner in years. Rebecca and Marcus joined us at my parents' house, where my mother served a meal she'd cooked herself instead of having it catered. The conversation was relaxed, focused on work projects and weekend plans rather than social obligations and financial stress. Marcus had never seen our family interact without the performance anxiety that money pressures created. "This is nice," he said during dessert. "My family's dinners are always so formal. This feels more genuine." Rebecca squeezed his hand. "This is how families should be." My father raised his coffee mug in a toast to Kenzie for teaching us that love shouldn't come with a price tag. It wasn't the dramatic reconciliation you see in movies. It was something better. A family learning to value each other for who we are rather than what we can provide. And honestly, that felt like the real victory. If this story resonated with you, make sure to like and subscribe for more stories about finding the courage to set boundaries, even with the people we love most. Remember, sometimes the best thing you can do for your family is refuse to enable their worst behaviors. Your worth isn't measured by what you can give. It's inherent in who you are.